Hey guys, Rob Crandall here with Water Time Outfitters. Today I'm going to be tying a steelhead fly, great for summer steelhead, and we're using this over on the lower Deschutes River right now. This pattern is pretty simple to tie. I've got a couple variations, one with and without the Arctic fox wing, but this it's a pretty unique pattern. It's a little different than most. It's got a lot of flash to it, and it's a very simple design. I'm gonna kind of whip through that real quick here and show you how I'm tying that. I'm starting out with the size 2 steelhead hook. I've taken this pattern, this hook here, and actually flattened out the eye so that it's a straight eye. Sometimes I like an upturned eye, sometimes a flat eye is great. So it kind of depends on the type of water you're fishing. Now with this, I'm just going to start with a little tag here, some flat tinsel. I like a silver for this. I'm just going to wrap this towards the back, nice and flat. Give me a good spot of shine. That's a great start. I'm using a 6/0 uni threads, good all-around thread for this. Now, a lot of the material I'm using is Spirit River dubbing. This is a dubbed body fly, and I'm going to first use the UV2. This is the Spirit River Ultra Vision, number 214. This is a Seal X, they call it, in red, and it's got really a lot of shine to the material fibers. And it's a fairly stiff fiber, so it kind of likes to stick out on you. I'm just going to roll that on there. I'm just making a tag of this red at the back, and you'll see that's going to kind of have some rogue fibers that stick out, but that gives me a good spot of color at the back. Next, I'm going to add a medium tinsel here. Again, I like silver for this pattern, and I lay that in like so. You could also use a large size tinsel for that as well, depending on the overall effect you're looking for. Now, I'm using the Spirit River UV2 dubbing as well. This is their Traveler's dubbing dispenser. It's the UV2 Diamond Bright. So this stuff is really bright, which I like for the early season steelhead. August, early September, those fish are fairly aggressive, and a good bit of color really helps. So I like the little bit of flash that the UV2 Diamond Bright has. Now for this fly, I'm using a combination of colors. I'm using the bronze olive, the chocolate brown, mixed with the deep blue. So that's these three here, the deep blue, chocolate brown, and the bronze olive in the Traveler's kit. So that kind of comes up to a little blend like this here, and I just kind of do that by hand as I work these together. Some of these I like a little more blue, some I like a little more olive, depending on what you're going for. So I'm just going to do a dubbed body here, and I like to dub the body on so it's a nice even size. So a lot of times I'll actually kind of come back and work over the top of it so it's got a good solid profile. I don't want to be using too thin of a body for this. That little solid profile really helps the fly stand out, and that silhouette against the against the sky as fish are looking up to the fly, and gives you a lot of good flash in there. So again, it's the blue, olive, kind of black. Those are really a good combination of colors. So my thought on that is really give steelhead some choices. Certain colors are going to show up better than others with different light conditions. So having a blend, I think, really tends to perform better than not having a blend. So I actually need a little bit more, so I'll show you how I blend these. I'm just going to pull a little bit of this, a little bit of this, set it on the table, a little bit of the olive, and then I just work this together like so. Now if you put it in a coffee grinder, it's going to come out a lot more fine, and the fibers will be so much smaller, and it's really not going to do what I want it to do with this fly. So I just blend it by hand like that. And I like to make this front end just a little bit thicker, a little bit bulkier up front, and then I like to give it kind of a soft dub to kind of have a little extra material that kind of will stick out, and little longer fibers, and you can pluck that out with a like a needle point or something as well, just to get a few of these fibers so they stand out a little bit better. Then we're just gonna rib that. Again, this is a medium oval ribbing here. You could also use a large oval ribbing. Okay, cut that extra off. Now one thing I like to do now, I like to actually use, it's called hare's ear. It's kind of a pearlescent coloration of this diamond bright dub. You see it's really got a lot of sheen to it, and I like to put a little bit of that and just kind of some long fibers, lay that in. It's kind of just an underwing, if you will, and I'll fold that back over, wrap like that, and then I'll trim this, the back of the tinsel, and that's going to be kind of our underwing. That itself has a lot of shine, a lot of sheen, and a lot of fish grabbing attention qualities. Now I'm going to pick a saddle hackle here. I like a slightly webby hackle, something about like this here looks about right to me. And I'm just going to strip down one side of this like so. Okay, we're going to lay that in and palmer that hackle. I like to have a good amount of hackle. Some guys tie a real sparse hackle. I like a hackle that's going to give the fly some stability in the water. It's going to help the fly ride fairly evenly. That stability helps, I think, helps give you better solid hookups. If your fly is bouncing around in the water, it's not going to achieve the same thing. So get a nice wrap on this. One more like so. Push that back a couple turns, lock it in place. Now we simply gotta have to add our wing on here, and for the wing I'll use a variety of things here, but flash to me is important. I'm going to use some crystal flash, just a couple strands of crystal flash. You know, wet the ends of those to kind of help keep them in line. A couple strands of the Mirage flash. Put that together with my crystal flash. Trim the ends nice and even. Okay, and I'm going to lay these up right in here like so. Again, my wing length, I like that to lay back about as far back as I have the tinsel on here. So I'm going to snug that in there. Double that down and trim that off. And then I like to add some blue flash in here. This Hanked Light Bright, Spirit River Hanked Light Bright in ocean blue has some really good colors to it. So I'm going to take that, just pull out a few of those fibers. And this stuff's kind of wild to work with. Lay that in there, fold it back, give it a trim like so. You've got a beautiful wing there. It's got a lot of flash, a lot of different coloration of flash. It'll grab different lights at different lighting in the canyon as that sun comes up or the sun's going down. The other thing I like to add in here is a little bit of Arctic fox. I like a little bit of white. White really stands out very well. It shows up in low light conditions. So a little bit of Arctic fox, kind of take the fluff out here. And then I'm just going to lay that Arctic fox right on that wing there. It's kind of like your classic greenbutt skunk wing calf tail, except for Arctic fox. A whole lot easier to work with in my mind. And you don't have to stack it. Lays on there really nice. And it moves and swims and kind of looks more lifelike in the water. We'll clean this thread head up here. Throw a whip finish on there. And we've got a fly that'll catch summer steelhead. Lower Deschutes, especially, really good. Anywhere you've got fresh arriving hot summer steelhead that are aggressive fish, this is really a good pattern. I like to put a little bit of cement on there, and we pretty much got us a fly ready to go catch some fish. So there's one of my new patterns I've been working on. I hope that maybe you can catch some fish with that. Maybe it helps you be more successful on the water. Well, good luck out there, and keep on fishing. Bye for now.